It's Saturday, the 11th of August, and this is Cock on Ball. I've waited a long time to say that. I'm Scott.
I'm Dave.
We're back. We thought it was a good idea.
It sort of felt like it might be a good idea, and weirdly we thought an even better idea would be to not only do Cock on Ball again, but actually let you see what we look like.
Yeah, so I'm Scott.
I'm Dave.
That's Dave. Yeah, so we started Cock on Ball in 2006.
The first Spurs podcast.
First ever.
The original. There has been another Cock on Ball, and that's a bit shady, so that wasn't us.
That wasn't us? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was another Cock on Ball. Someone else did it. Yeah, really shady.
How could you do that?
But yeah, I know. But anyway,
our lawyers are not on the case.
No, clearly not. But we were the original and the best. Actually, that's not true. Well, maybe. There's been lots of other really good Spurs podcasts.
There are loads of them. Yeah,
big fan, and there's loads going on. But not that many podcasts. So again, we're pioneering.
Apparently, so YouTube is quite big. So we don't quite know
YouTube.
Yeah. Well, it was bigger than in 2006 when we first started. When I remember we were talking about Michael Carrick in our first episode, and Lionel Blair. So let's talk about Spurs because that's kind of what we're here to do.
Yeah, and normally at this point in the sort of opening Cock and Ball of the season, what we do is we really get into the detail of the transfers.
Yeah, I normally take out a big pad of ins and outs.
Yeah, and really go over that. So let's do that. Let's talk about our new signings.
Let's talk about the transfer window.
So first game of the season was today.
Yeah, it was Newcastle away. Yeah, I mean, what to say? There's been a lot of chat, a lot of mocking online.
Yeah, there's sharp division, polarisation of the fans, the Levy in, the Levy out brigades, as they're known.
Really going for it in a big way. I'm
a badge-wearing member of the Levy in brigade on the various forums.
Interesting. I don't know where I stand really. I'm a bit upset that we haven't freshened things up. Because I generally think that it's good to bring in players who will challenge you, move things around. But people start worrying about their place. People start playing more for, there's something about bringing in a new player that really changes things. At the same time, I also see the other school of thought, which I'm sure, if you're coming from the Levy-in perspective, and
I mean, look, you don't have to see it from a Levy-in, Levy-out. Like, I totally agree with what you've just said. Like, there's no debate that new signings, especially good new signings, are a good thing. Like, no question.
Bad new signings are a bad thing.
Okay. We're really getting into this.
It's a good motto.
That's how we're going to make
your life.
It's that kind of searing insight. That's what the fans have been missing, isn't it?
I mean, you have missed us, right? Go on, make your point.
I think we are in a very unusual moment in our journey as a club. I think, look, everyone knows it's to do with the new stadium. That's not like a big thing.
Yeah,
we've got a £1 billion stadium that we're about to move into that went significantly over budget because of rising costs and Brexit and whatever. So there's that. We've also got a chairman who seems to sort of not want to get stung twice. You know what I mean? Like I always think of Levy, you can tell that he learns from his mistakes. There's some debate about that, certainly with regards to his managerial appointments, but generally speaking, take the Bale thing, for example. We sold Bale, we brought in a huge amount of new players, spent vast amounts of money on big name signings, and more or less all of them were a disaster. I mean, Ericsson and Lamella.
Those are of the Magnificent Seven, so-called Magnificent Seven, yeah.
What was the quote? We sold Elvis and bought the Beatles or something like that.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, we sold Elvis and just kind of bought...
And we bought the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. But I mean, look,
Eric, there's anything wrong with the Backstreet Boys, obviously.
Yeah, tell me why. Ericsson will probably end up being worth the whole experience, the whole Bale thing. And I'm a big Lamella fan, but he's divisive.
There was a lot of talk of Bale coming back to Spurs this year as well.
Yeah, I still think it's a possibility. I think everything that happened with Real Madrid this summer, Ronaldo leaving, new manager coming in, Bale's now got that opportunity to be the star there that he probably always wanted to be. So I can totally see, and realistically, we're not spending £100 million on a player ever.
No, I don't see that, but I do think there's something about signature, the classic kind of marquee players. I do think the transfer window has been I think it's been a strange old summer because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
because for some reason the Premier League has come out seems to be really early.
And there's been like huge inflation thanks to Liverpool and Manchester United and Barcelona and PSG.
It's been, so I think the World Cup...
And we've got this homegrown thing.
We've got the homegrown thing that, we can come on to. I think the World Cup obviously changed things quite a lot for us as a club, because most of those players, you know, it was interesting. Pochettino yesterday was talking about having to talk to Alderweireld and Rose throughout the World Cup, and they were completely destabilised with all the speculation that was happening. They only came back to training on Monday. Then you've got the changing transfer window. I think it goes, even though we voted for it, it goes against exactly the purpose of what Levy kind of tries to do. I think if we had gone on to the normal transfer window until the end of August, I think we would have signed some players.
Yeah, I mean, I think
oddly,
I feel like the situation we got ourselves into is first of all, the priority was to keep our players, and I respect that.
Okay.
That's a very, very bold thing to do for me. Brave, as is the big word.
Watchword.
The watchword. I think keeping all our players, particularly players like Toby and Rose, and a lot of them, Dembele, are in a place where they may well run out their contracts, or go and reduce fees next season or whatever. And I think it was brave to sort of keep everyone, but also that meant there was obviously players that we probably did want to get rid of, like so Sissoko, maybe Llorente, maybe Aurier. There was Nkudu. There was players that were surplus to requirements, and from what Janssen, and from what I understand, what we're told, again, ITKs, you never really know how in the know they really are, but it sounded like we were trying to shift these players, we couldn't shift those players, and that massively impacted on our ability to bring in players. So the combination of new stadium, big bumper new salaries for the players that we wanted to keep, inability to sell the players we needed to sell, homegrown issue, and just general weirdness in the transfer window put us in a situation where it was very, very difficult to sign players.
I think the window itself started actually really positively in terms of all the players we signed up to new contracts. Kane doing that before the World Cup, before he explodes onto that world scene, wins the Golden Boot. Pochettino himself, new contract.
Yeah, and that's huge. By the
probably
way.
would have gone. Yeah, he probably would have gone to Real Madrid because Zidane left about a week after he signed that contract. I think he'll be frustrated with how it's gone. I think he's a pragmatist. If you read the book, he's quite a pragmatist. He's very much part of the get the squad together, build the team, build everyone up as a group, as a unit. So I can see him working with it and saying we're going to be competitive this year. But I do think there is that sense of, are we going to stagnate? And I think for me that's the question. Is the thing that we've broken the record of the team that has never signed a player in the summer transfer window. It's been going for 15 years. I think it's a bit embarrassing as a club. I think people will want us to do badly, but I think there are lots of people out there who want to do badly anyway. But yeah, it's an interesting issue.
I personally, I don't find it embarrassing. Like, I really don't. I think it's really obvious that we're in a very unusual situation. We're punching above our weight, and have been for some time. We're building this incredible stadium.
Yeah, the stadium's going to be amazing.
Second biggest stadium in the country, better than almost all of our rivals. We're keeping players that people would say a club of our level have no right to try and keep. Everyone's always saying Kane's got to leave to show ambition, Ericsson's got to leave, Ali's got to leave, Pochettino's got to leave. These are all players that could do better, and many would say should do better, but we've been brave and kept them all. I think it's a very unique circumstances, and yeah, sure, it would have been nice to sign some players, but I'm personally glad that we didn't go out and do what we did in previous windows and panic buy and buy players for the sake of it. I'd rather keep the money and maybe use it to better effect in January.
Of all the players we were linked with, and actually I don't think we were linked with that many, judging by my kind of general scanning of the transfer market, but all those players who are realistically going to come to Spurs, who would you have most liked to have got to kind of freshen up the squad, as we talked about at the beginning?
It's a really difficult one. There's obviously something incredibly appealing about signing Martial or Zaha, exciting, pacey, attacking players. I don't think that's actually where our gap is, apart from perhaps backup for Kane, which is still an issue for us.
Yeah.
But the big worry I have is our central midfield. I think when Dembele's not on best form, which seems to be happening worryingly regularly at the moment.
Yeah, I think he had one amazing month last season where he was unstoppable and he was unplayable and he was getting all the plaudits and, you know, everyone was writing an article about Dembele about how good he was. It was around that kind of Champions League time where he kind of bossed the shop against Juventus. He was brilliant.
Bossed the shop.
Bossed the shop, yeah, it's the phrase. He was brilliant, but I think some of the time last season he wasn't very good, and I think he has struggled a bit.
He's getting older. You know, there was a lot of talk about him leaving and going to China or going to Italy,
and that might actually still happen. But I agree with you. The central midfield is a place where I'm thinking, you know, finding that player. I mean, 2 seasons ago it was Dembele and Wanyama who absolutely killed the midfield. And then last season it was different. And we still haven't quite worked out where they fit. Whether Dyer's a midfielder or a defender, we still don't know. I think sometimes he's very, very good. Sometimes I don't really understand the fuss.
I think one thing about Dyer is he's just incredibly flexible, so he can sort of play whatever shape we move into during a game. Dyer allows us to kind of shift around like that, and because he's very sort of decent, if not very good, in maybe 3 positions.
He's a perfect player for Pochettino.
Yeah, exactly, and that is enormously valuable, and that Dyer's flexibility is a very, very important part of our kind of tactical.
It's interesting because we've never been able to talk about the Pochettino era at all, which is an amazing kind of oversight. We talk about ourselves obviously, but Dyer almost represents that Pochettino thing because of I think he was the first player we bought for £3 or £4 million, brought him back from Portugal. And I think you're right. He can play in all those positions. I don't quite know which is his best position, but I think we're really missing that. Almost that Modric-esque midfielder. It sounds amazing now. Now he's won the best player at the World Cup. Everyone's like, oh, Modric, but we raved about him for years because he was so good.
He was Real Madrid's biggest flop of all time.
He was that first season.
Marca
fans, what do they know?
Yeah, I know. But I mean, look, I think even in that position, I think it was a real shame that Winks was out for a lot of last season because that could have been his breakthrough season. As you know, I'm a very, very big fan of Winks.
You're a big fan of Harry Winks?
I do like.
He's changed his number.
Little Harry. No.
He's now number 8.
Well, there you go.
He was number 29.
But that's a statement of intent. That says something, doesn't
29 or 27? Can't remember. Whichever one he was.
I'm sure you're right. But that says something. But also, I think had Harry Winks not been very injured last season, he might have had one of those Harry Kane type breakthrough seasons and become very crucial. And I see a lot of Modric in him actually. The way he kind of makes space for himself with that first touch, I think is very Modric-esque.
I'd like him to be. Well, he hasn't played for a while, so it's been a long time since I've seen him. Actually, the last few times I saw him, he was playing too safe against quite poor teams. Playing the ball backwards quite a lot, not really going forward. Just concentrating on not losing possession, which is not really what I want to see. But so transfer window, seems to kind of start and then just end pretty quickly.
I mean, look, it is not ideal. I also think it's far from the utter disaster some people are painting it as. Like there are genuine kind of people talking about protesting, protesting against Levy out. There was some people on Twitter I saw like hoping that we lost today because it would help kind of galvanise this Levy out.
I'm not a subscriber to that.
No, I know. You have a brain, that's why. But it's not ideal, but I think we are quite unusually placed to still be fine. We're the only team that's finished consistently in the top 3 for the last 3 seasons.
We have.
And that is because we've got a very good team already. And we've kept that team. I don't think there's been that much improvement around us. Liverpool are obviously the team that have really, really gone for it. And
I have to say, there's something. Chelsea is the example from last season where they had their title-winning team and they changed 3 or 4 players and they were unrecognisable. And I think they made a real error with all that. It's hard sometimes when players want to leave, and like replacing Costa with Morata, replacing Matic with Bakayoko was a terrible thing for them. So I can see also, the positives about that.
Even Liverpool, I mean, it feels right now like they've done incredible business, and everyone's tipping them to come at least second, if not first. But we don't know what these players are going to be like in the Premier League.
No, it's true.
Like we've been there ourselves when we sold Bale, and who knows? Like
you never know.
I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of those players turns out to be an absolute flop. When you bring in a lot of big expensive players like that, there's always a decent chance that at least one of them won't work out.
I agree.
And you never know, it might be that doesn't work out for them. I don't think Chelsea have really improved. I think they've more or less stayed the same. Manchester United, I don't think have massively changed.
I thought they were very, very lucky last night.
Yeah, I thought they were completely average. I think Leicestershire just hammered them. And then obviously City is City. I'd be amazed if they didn't win the league again.
Yeah.
But I don't see us getting pushed necessarily down because we've failed to improve. And I think so. It is what it is. But anyway, should we draw a line under
transfer window?
Transfer window, and in a minute we'll come back and talk about
the game.
So, first game of the season.
First game of the season was today.
Newcastle away, exactly the same as the first game of last season.
Yeah, it was. It's a strange old game today. The season seems to have kind of crept up on us. I thought we were quite lucky to win. Yeah,
I think the first game is often a bit weird. Like there's always a sort of everyone's a bit not quite fit yet, and there's a weird vibe, and it always seems to sneak up. Like I'm always surprised at the start of the season. I don't know why it still surprises me. But it's always around this time in August that it always feels like it's too early. But maybe that's just me. But
it does feel a bit early.
I think the World Cup as well makes that feel.
And fantastic weather. Generally,
an actual summer.
An actual summer. But most importantly, third kit.
Yeah.
Green kit.
Yeah, barely even green. Definite sort of luminous teal
it's
kind of.
Neptune green, apparently. It's. We were kind of laughing during the game because we saw the email that Spurs sent out, which was all about the Neptune green being the colour of the brewery that was originally on the site where White Hart Lane once stood.
It makes me laugh because I work in the design industry, and I know that quite often designers just do whatever they want to do, and then someone, me often, has to go and post rationalise that and do the research.
It is a
classic. Find the reason why that design is the design. And
it's a classic piece of post rationalisation.
Without question.
No one believes it. It's total bullshit.
No, yeah.
And I think it's really horrible. Thanks for that.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I've got a cough.
You do. Dave quite likes it.
I do quite like it actually. Not so much the colour. I quite like the sort of that weird, it's gone a bit funny in the washing machine kind of look that it's got going on.
That's the bit I don't like.
I think it's quite cool.
No, not a big fan. In the same way as I thought the video announcing the new Spurs kit with the going around London thing was the most dreadful video I've ever seen.
I used to cough again.
Do you?
Yeah.
Thanks. Let's talk about the game for a minute. 9mm.
Yeah,
9mm, amazing. Less than 1 centimetre over the line.
Yeah, without question the closest over the line goal I've ever seen.
Definitely I've ever seen. I mean,
I didn't think it was a goal at all. None of us were.
No.
We were watching it, us two and my brother, and none of us thought it was anything like a goal. There was no reaction whatsoever. I don't think the players thought it was a goal.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, I like the technology. Great work from the technology there.
It was excellent. The technology did brilliantly.
Yeah, did fair, cracking decision by the technology.
Well done, Tech.
It would have been great if the referee had spotted it and given that goal. But we were talking about it during the game again. It would have been seen as guesswork.
He would have been criticised.
Yeah.
If the referee had given that, it would have been one of those ones where they go, "Oh well, he's guessed, and he's guessed right, but he shouldn't guess."
With the naked eye, there's no way you could have given that goal. But yeah, weird way to start the season. Like a strange old.
It was also weird the way Sanchez celebrated.
Yeah.
And everyone sort of went and congratulated Sanchez.
It was a great assist.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we scored early with that, and I thought, oh, this is going really well. But then they equalised pretty immediately, actually.
And it kind of looked a bit like Sanchez wasn't quite in the right place, or didn't try and head it. But actually, I just think it was a really good bit of play by Newcastle.
It was a great cross, and it was Matt Ritchie did the cross, and he was really angry later when he got taken off. I thought it was really harsh for him to be taken off.
He was really good.
He did really well.
He was really good.
But then I think we came back into it. I think that. It was a strong old team, quite surprisingly strong actually. Moore looked quite good in the opening kind of bit, then I think he faded. But talking of a great cross, Aurier, who I genuinely think is very poor.
Yeah. But I mean, that was unquestionably the best thing he's done in a Spurs shirt so far.
Yeah.
That cross. I had no... And actually he did a few more. He did like 3 quite good crosses throughout the course of the day.
He was, yeah. Defensively, he hasn't got a clue, though.
He's not very good. I mean, the fact that he has got those crosses in his bag, and he sometimes has done some sort of quite good things down the wing. But I don't really rate him, and he is just an absolute liability. Like we always say, whenever we watch him, he's just a red card waiting to happen, and has happened. And
gave away a fair old number of penalties last season. But it was a great cross, credit where it's due, and a great header from Ali. He loves that position at the back post. Great header, did it in the World Cup, did against Chelsea a few times. I mean, really good header, and he didn't look particularly fit, but actually I think he was probably our brightest.
Yeah, I mean, I always think that Ali looks better. Like Ali's real quality is in those moments where he's just really, really clever bit of movement, and he just arrives and scores. When he's got time on the ball, sometimes he's a bit ponderous, and actually we saw that a bit today, I think. Like,
yeah, there was a just before Grealish didn't move to Spurs, there was a whole thing about what Jack Grealish would bring to Spurs when he signed, which is. But
also he's best friends with Dele Alli apparently. So
is he?
Yeah.
But they were talking about the fact that Ali was taking that role, that deep lying dribbling role, but he lost the ball a hell of a lot of times last season, whereas Grealish didn't do that in the Championship. Blah blah blah. But what Ali's best position would be further forward and sneaking into those positions, often compared to Lampard. He has got great, awareness of space, and he knows when to run. So I think he's almost best without the ball.
Yeah.
And when he has 1 or 2 touches, I mean that goal against Chelsea last season, that run, the touch, the finish, brilliant. But again, sometimes he's not the most natural. He doesn't look the most natural footballer when you've got the ball at his feet and he's running forward.
He does. I mean, he does. He's very, very. We always talk about how kind of wily he is. Like he's brilliant at drawing fouls.
He is.
He's very, very, very clever in his movement. He seems to be learning how to control his temperament and how to wind up other players. He's still very, very young. He's what, 20, 21 still. Like
and he's
great.
He's great. I mean, his goals were down last season, but his assists were up. Let's hope that's the beginning of he scored in the first game last season.
Yeah. And like you say, he looked good today. I mean, I do wonder, because he was a bit injured in the World Cup and he didn't play as much as some of the other players.
It's true.
So I do wonder if that was why he was a little bit brighter today than certainly Kane, who was
leggy,
just not there really. He just looked totally unfit, half asleep.
It goes to. I mean, he's also he's a new father, so he's he's probably gonna have a few late nights.
I mean, I made that comment during the game, and you took the piss out of me saying like, "Oh well."
James did.
My brother did, but
yeah, sorry, James was sitting just there, by the way, and he's not there anymore. That would be odd, him to be stuck in the corner. But I think he looked leggy. He looked a bit like he needed he needed a bleep run. That's what he needed. Bleep test.
Yeah.
Yeah. They still do those, probably.
I don't know. I mean, those just made me tired rather than fit, but yeah.
No, but they kind of help you
get fit,
which you need.
I don't think I ever got to that point. But look, I mean, we all know what Kane's capable of, and there's no question he'll come back. I just hope that it doesn't. I mean, this is the big worry, right? This is what everyone's saying. Is it going to now be a thing that affects his whole season? Like, is he now? He hasn't had a proper pre-season. I don't think so either. I mean, like,
he definitely needs a goal in August just to get everyone to stop talking about it.
Yeah,
it's really annoying. But he didn't even look close to a goal today. I mean,
look, I don't mind if he doesn't score in August if it means he has the kind of September that he had last year. That's fine.
That was sensational. Yeah. I think second half we definitely. I think we felt the pace of the game. We were lucky not to concede a goal. I think Vertonghen's challenge on Rondon, or the block more precisely, was fantastic. Wasn't really getting as much praise as I thought it was getting.
Yeah.
Or it should be getting. But he really, there was a certain goal he stopped there.
And, he played as many games as Kane did in the World Cup, and he looked absolutely fit as. So.
Yeah, I think Vertonghen. You were saying during the game he didn't get enough credit last season. I just pointed out he was player of the season.
I still don't think he got enough credit though.
I think he was really good.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
He was in the Premier League Team of the Year as well. Yeah. So most important, they said it after the game. There's Robbie Keane, who I still think could do a job.
Yeah.
For us as a backup striker.
Do you know what? So yeah, you've just reminded me. We didn't really talk about that home run thing. But like
homegrown thing. Yeah.
I just went on a slightly weird train of logic. You talked about Robbie Keane.
Yeah, Robbie Keane.
That made me think of Peter Crouch.
Okay.
And because I reckon, seriously, I would actually rather have Peter Crouch than Llorente. Even now, I reckon Crouch would be more useful for us than Llorente would, and he would be homegrown.
Is he still at Stoke?
He was last season.
Yeah.
He may finally have retired now. I think. Maybe not.
No, he was playing in the end of last season. Maybe he's retired.
There was talk of him moving again. I think might even have been back to Pompey for his 17th time. But
there are lots of players who can do a better job than Llorente.
But I think the point I wanted to make there, and sorry, this is a little bit of a non-sequitur, but just
okay. Yeah. Well,
but the homegrown thing, like all of that stuff we were talking about before, with like is the situation with the transfer and the Levy and all of that okay and not okay and who's to blame and all of that. The Levy.
Yeah.
The Liverpools of this world,
yeah.
The Levys of this world. Look, generally, I'm very, like I say, defensive, and I kind of just think these guys know what they're doing way better than I do, and I find it very odd when fans seem to think they know how to run a football club better than people that actually do it for a living. But the homegrown thing, I do think, is a bit of a disgrace. I don't know how we've managed to get ourselves into a situation where we don't have enough homegrown players, and it can only be bad planning, particularly when you've got so many fringe players like Llorente, Nkudu, Sissoko, Aurier. Like those were all players that actually could have been more smartly bought with the homegrown challenge in mind. And as I said to you before, the goalkeeper thing, having two foreign goalkeepers, well, 3 foreign goalkeepers, but our second and third both being foreign, is just madness. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Having said that, Gazaniga's performance in the one game he did play was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he was not great against that team.
Girona.
Yeah. Ooh.
Pre-season friendly. Don't make meaning. As we know, as we used to talk about, Martin Yol was unbeaten in pre-season friendlies. Remember that?
Well, the classic was Ramos's pre-season. Before we then went on to have our worst ever Premier League start, we hammered Roma.
Oh, we did
5-0, I think.
We did.
And
at White Hart Lane.
And we were like, oh my god, this is. And we'd just come off winning the cup this previous season.
Oh, it's going to be. We are
exactly. That was the season we were going to win the league, and it was terrible. So yeah, pre-season.
That was 2 points from 8 games, wasn't it? Classic. I love that stat.
But yeah, but anyway, the homegrown thing, I think, particularly when you look at that little weird thing about how Davies and Dyer do count as homegrown in the Premier League but don't count as homegrown in the Champions League because of just a slightly weird rule around that. That feels to me like an oversight. That feels to me like somebody cocked up and didn't realise that there was a difference in those rules. And that is an oversight that has affected our entire transfer window and could affect this entire season. And that is... People, I love it on the forums where people say it's unacceptable. It's like, well, what do you mean by like?
You feel very strongly about this.
But what happens when you don't accept it? What's the consequences of something being unacceptable? Like it is. I mean, anyway, it's just a funny thing that people say. But that is unacceptable.
Okay,
it is.
I don't quite know how to follow that. I think we've come to the end of our first.
Probably that was. I just
foray back into the world of cock on ball. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Yeah,
let us know. Comments on YouTube are very much a thing. Try not to be too racist, as is traditional.
They are a thing. I mean, not necessarily a good thing. Yeah. Maybe you could email us at cockonball@gmail.com.
Oh, is that still a thing?
I think it's still going.
Yeah, well,
we should probably check that.
Yeah.
Don't send us spam. Don't send us.
God. Can you imagine how much spam is going to be in that email
we need
address?
to look at that.
I haven't checked it in like 7 years.
Anyway, don't send any emails or comment.
Is the forum still alive?
No, the forum's gone. Thanks, guys. See you later. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.